Hi guys, so I'm back with another video today, and today I'm going to be giving you my opinions on American Girl's recent release, the World by Us collection. And the World by Us collection has been out for like a little bit of time now, and I didn't want to like make a video like at the very start when it was like very freshly new, until like I basically got to gather like more like context of like what it really is and all of this stuff, so I could have like a real authentic opinion, if that makes any sense. So yeah, so I'm going to cut my talking short because I have a lot to say. But before we start with the video, make sure that you go ahead and give this video a thumbs up, like and share this video, and if you aren't already, subscribe. And so yeah, let's get started. So for starters, I think that all the dolls are pretty. However, the line as a whole, I'm not really that big a fan of, because even though it's supposed to be a collection about more diversity and, you know, dolls of color, there's still like a lot of red flags for me that I have about it. So I don't know, I can't really get completely behind it, but I think that like the concept is like good, but American Girl just didn't, you know, deliver. So yeah. Another thing that I like is that the dolls have painted on eyelashes, to give them like a more kind of like older, mature look, as like the ages have increased to them being like 13 and teenagers and stuff. So I do like that, even though painted on eyelashes have been around like forever, and I have other dolls that, you know, they do have painted on eyelashes, so it's kind of like it's not that big of like a deal or something new. But I just personally like it. I know that a lot of people like they don't like the painted on eyelashes, but you know, like I said, I don't see a big deal about it, just because like for me, like I grew up looking at dolls with painted on eyelashes, so I kind of think it just makes them look like a little bit more normal, if you will. So yeah. If I'm to be honest, I'm not a fan of the attire, and then to make things even more worse, all of the clothing, like the attire and stuff, it doesn't even ship until February, and it's like, it's really expensive. Like really, American Girl, like come on now. But I'm not touching that. But I feel they could have did better. Even though, I mean, I guess I have to give them some props for like not all of the clothing and everything being like pink and girly, but still. Okay, a couple of last minute like things before I get into talking directly about the dolls is that, like I said before, I think that the concepts of the storylines are a good idea to educate the newer generations and even, you know, the older ones or whatever. But I feel that American Girl messed it up. And like I said, I haven't read any of the books, but from what I have seen and what I have heard within the doll community, how they presented it so far is definitely giving me sus vibes. And I feel that maybe if they took more time, I feel, to like do it better. And I mean, I think that when they were first doing it, they had it sounding and appealing good, as like they say that they have all these researchers or whatever, but at the same time, I kind of feel like American Girl only did the World by Us collection because let's be honest, if you know American Girl and their history, you know that there's not a whole bunch of diversity, let alone like black dolls, and like basically any line. And I feel like they only did it just to like shut people up, to not have people thinking of them a certain way, if you will. And also, I feel like because other brands started making more black dolls and stuff, and more dolls of color, that American Girl wanted to hop on the trend, because obviously they don't want to go out of business. So I feel like they didn't really come about doing it like with like a full like pure heart, if you know what I mean. So yeah. So that's what I'm going to say on that, because I can literally go all day talking about American Girl's lack of diversity, and how, honestly, I think that is really not a secret, how like American Girl really prefers like, you know, non-dolls of color, or, you know, dolls that could possibly be white passing. But, you know, we'll get into that later. So anyways, let's just go ahead and move on, because I don't want to stay all day on this. So, yeah. So the first doll that I'm going to start out talking about is Makaina. I think that she's a beautiful doll, and if I'm to be honest, I don't particularly like her name, only because there has been a doll with her name that is very similar, even though American Girl they literally just changed the pronunciations, and I mean, that's fine, but I mean, let's just like be a little bit more creative, especially if, you know, you are wanting people to pay like $100 something. Why not just go ahead and be creative all the way around? But that's just like my opinion, because I like all of my dolls to have unique names that not a lot of people have. And Makaina, whatever, it's a very popular name. So yeah. And lastly, I don't feel that she belongs to American Girl, and I only say that because she looks like a doll from like literally, I can't pinpoint the brand, but I do feel like I have seen her before, and that probably if I tried hard enough to like find a doll to look like her, you know, going through all the many brands, that I could probably find her. So those are my thoughts on Makaina. The next doll that I am going to talk about is Maurizia, and I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing her name right. But I like how she has a semi-new mold. She has the Joss mold, something different. So yeah, that's like pretty cool, I guess. I feel like American Girl is reaching a bit with her, with some of the issues that she has in her story, covering immigration and the pandemic. And me personally, I feel like they are reaching a bit, because there's not exactly solutions, and I don't know, American Girl just isn't the type to strike me as really doing things appropriately, or that aren't, you know, offensive or whatever. Which we're going to get into that, because there are some controversies over Maurizia. So, yeah, and I haven't read her book, but from what I have seen, what I have heard, from the bit of information that I do know, all I have to say to American Girl is, you know, be careful so that, you know, you don't get yourself into trouble, because if you know American Girl and you follow them closely, they are no stranger to controversy. So, yeah, and being offensive and just all of the things. So, yeah, and then another thing about Maurizia that I and a lot of people don't really like, or, you know, like I said, American Girl, I feel they are just very sus. But they have this YouTube series, and I watched it, and honestly, I didn't think anything of it, because, like I said, you know, I I don't read the books, but there have been people that, they have watched the video and they have read her books, and basically a part of her story that has to do with, immigration and stuff. They switched it around in the video, and a lot of people aren't happy about that. So, yeah, and like I was saying earlier, I was telling American Girl, you should be careful, but, you know, yeah, that was a very wrong thing to do, and, hopefully they go back and fix the video. I don't really know. A lot of people aren't happy about that, and they are very offended, so, yeah, but like I said, American Girl is no stranger to controversy, so, honestly, it's not a shocker to be disappointed at this point, because American Girl has just, been disappointing people for years, so that's why, I don't really feel any type of way about it, because I'm just literally not surprised, but, anyways, let's just go ahead and move on to the last doll, Yvette, which I have a lot to say about her, so, yeah. The last doll I'm going to be talking about is Yvette, and she is definitely one of my favorites. Well, at least she was one of my favorites. Look-wise, however, it has been reported that although she is mixed in the magazines, on the website, and even at the American Girl fashion show and stuff, she had a tan appeal to her skin. But if you actually go and buy her, she's very whitewashed, white passing, and that is saddening, but at the same time, I'm not surprised. So yeah, I'm not surprised, just because, I know that American Girl they favor one over the other, if you know what I mean, and they did the same thing with Leah Clark, so, and that's what people are saying, that she, in relations to her skin, she looks like, but just a little bit lighter, which is, kind of sus, because in the magazines, she definitely doesn't look that way. So yeah, and then her attire is a little bit more tolerable for me, in my opinion. I like her dress, her meat dress. However, I don't really think that, it suits her, but yeah. So yeah, those are, basically, my opinions. And they have a community center too. And I think that, it's cute or whatever. However, you can definitely, go to the dollar store and, make it for, at least probably, $10, if not less. But, anyways, so those were my opinions and thoughts on the World by Us collection that American Girl has, and honestly, I don't think that, my opinions are, too, far out there, at all, and, like I said, I waited to, not do it, the first day or second day that, the dolls came out, and I just, I watched other people's opinions on the World by Us collection, and, I just saw, more things come out about each, individual doll in the collection and the collection as a whole, and I formulated my opinions based off of that, because like I said, I haven't read the books. Maybe I will, just because, who knows? So yeah, like I said, you know, overall, I do like the collection. There are definitely lots of red flags, lots of things that American Girl could definitely do to improve the collection, and they say that they have more dolls coming out, and I'm not gonna lie, I feel like with these three characters, you know, it was kind of a flop. And it's not that, you know, the dolls are bad or anything. It's literally just how American Girl presented it. And so, yeah, and I hope that if they do have more dolls to come out, that one, they have the dolls to, you know, you can tell that they are supposed to be a doll of color. You know, like I said, you know, Yvette, she is mixed and she is very whitewashed, and the pictures that American Girl has of her, they aren't very accurate. So yeah, so I hope that, you know, if they do have more characters to come, that they do, like, you know, shade the doll in a little bit more. And I am fully aware too, let me just go ahead and say, I'm fully aware that, you know, you can be mixed and be on the lighter skin tone color like Leah Clark. However, for American Girl, for what they are, the purpose of what they were supposed to intend the line to be, I don't really think that is really appropriate to, you know, have a doll that could basically pass as white. Just my opinion, you know, and there's a lot of people in, you know, the doll community that don't like that American Girl did that either. So yeah, and like I said before, to American Girl, to go ahead and, you know, be careful, because like I said, they are no stranger to controversy. Like, literally, I feel like I'm hearing something like new every day of something that they did wrong or offensive. So yeah, but anyways, I'm going to wrap it up here, and I hope that you guys enjoyed hearing my opinion. And if you did, go ahead and like this video, share this video, comment down your thoughts below, and subscribe if you aren't already, because we have more videos to come. And with that being said, bye guys.